Well, welcome to the presentation on technical tips that you would be using or suggestions that you could use for your screencasts or your MoveNote.com. And that is essentially what MoveNote is a screencast. Now, by no means am I an expert. I have been trial and error doing this for a couple of years. So I think I've found a few things that have worked, some tips and techniques that allow for a little bit better looking presentation. So we're going to be going over just a few of the things that I've learned. Now, the typical format that you'll be doing is you'll be presenting to a camera, talking, and narrating to PowerPoint slides. So you'll have some PowerPoint slides like here and this terrible slide here, and this one that's a little bit better. But basically, you'll be going through these slides and talking. So here, what are some of the things that you want to do as far as kind of lights, camera, action techniques? Well, the first one is lights. You want to use lots of light. Cameras, most video cameras are very light hungry. They need a lot of light to make the images look good. We have seen over the years that students have done these video presentations and it looks like they're in the back of a cave. Very dark, very hard to see. So one of the things you want to learn is turn on some lights. You want to have at least a couple of good light sources that are pretty close to you. Let me just take a moment. I'm going to show you we're doing a little bit different format today than you normally see. So you're seeing some more things in the background. Usually I have those totally gone through green screen. By all means, you don't need to do anything like that. But I'm going to grab the camera and show you my lighting arrangement that throws a little bit more light on me. So excuse me here while I grab the camera. Okay, so you can see here that we have a couple of lights that I use, and the recommendation is that those lights are pretty much right behind the camera and, kind of illuminating you. So turn on some lights in your room. Maybe put a couple of lamps behind the camera, make sure my camera looks square there now that I moved it, that you've got some decent illumination. Lights behind you, it doesn't help too much, but turn them all on and make sure it looks nice and at least somewhat bright. Sound. Here's another problem that we've had historically that I have struggled with, and I think I've finally solved my sound issues. Some students who have done their presentations, they sound like, not only do they look like they're in the back of a cave, but they sound like they're in the back of a cave. And that usually has to do with the microphones on laptops, which are pretty small and not very good. Some laptops are great. Typically, Macs are pretty decent. But you want to look at your sound, or you want to listen to your sound, address your sound, see how it is. Maybe you got a laptop with a great one, then don't worry about it. If you don't, recommendation is go out and buy a little microphone. You can get these little stick mics. They run maybe $10 to $15. Just bringing that microphone, they're usually maybe a USB connection or what they like a 3.5 millimeter connection. That'll go right into your laptop. You'll know what I mean when you go to the store and look at one. Walmart, Kmart, they all have them. But just bringing that microphone away from the laptop and towards you can get rid of some of the laptop sounds and make it sound a lot better. If you wish, you could do the headset arrangement. That's perfectly okay too. Of course, you're wearing a headset while you're presenting. Not a big deal, but if you kind of want that freedom, go out and get a little stick mic. This mic I have here runs about $80. By no means do you need to go and get something like that. I think you can solve the problem and get pretty good for around $10. Okay, so that addresses sound. Camera. Most cameras in your laptop are going to be pretty decent. Now, as you saw, I grabbed the camera, I moved it. I've obviously got a webcam. I have a built-in camera as well. But the webcam is a ton better than my built-in camera. Recommendation is that the cameras usually in your laptop are decent enough. You're not going to be doing high-res videos. They might require a little bit more light than other cameras, but you should be just fine. If you do want to go out and get a webcam, you can get a pretty decent setup for $30, $40, and that will include an incorporated microphone that's pretty decent. And then for if you wanted to get top end, the Microsoft LifeCam Studio webcams run about $80, $90. Great camera, but by no means do you need to do that. So I think you can get by with what's in your laptop, again, by just using some lights. Okay, so that addresses camera. Now, what do we do? Now that we're on camera, we've got our lights, everything's ready to go, we've got our decent sound. How should we look? The rule of thumb here is you want to avoid anything that's distracting. You don't want anything that your viewer is going to look at and maybe focus on. And for whatever reasons, if there's something even minor in a video, it's magnified like 10 times in the world of distraction. So unfair as it is, it does happen. So how should we look? I would say, business casual, kind of a business casual or professional dress. Nothing that would, question or even have people think about, oh, look, they're wearing a t-shirt, just kind of a nice professional dress or business casual should be fine for most of your presentations. Again, going back to those kind of distraction measures, anything that's in the field of view of that camera, you want to make sure is pretty neutral or, again, not very eye-catching. So shoot your video in an area where there's maybe nothing crazy in the background. Now here you got some bookshelves, a desk, nothing that really grabs your attention. You don't want to see dirty dishes. You don't want to see, your kids running around in the background, which we've seen in some videos, not in this class, but in other courses that have required this. So again, avoid anything that would be distracting to your viewers in your background, and again with your dress itself. And then lastly, eye contact. You want to try to maintain eye contact with the camera as much as possible. Now, we all realize that you're doing a lot of things on the periphery as you're shooting this. Like in my case, I'm moving slides back and forth, so I'm making sure I'm looking down and making sure my fingers are on the keys to move those back and forth. You may be doing a couple of other things too, but as much as possible, try to keep that eye contact with the camera. And another thing kind of going along with that eye contact is the eye-camera relationship. Now, just by the nature of laptops and how they're designed, you have it on the table, you flip it open, and you have the camera. But the camera in general is looking up at you because of the way the laptop is situated. And that's just normal. It's just the way how it's normally designed. But it kind of projects a distracting frame. So we have all these videos where cameras are looking up at people. So for example, I'll grab the camera again. So the laptop's sitting open, it's cracked open, and you have all these videos of people kind of looking down into the camera. My recommendation to get rid of that, I'll flip the camera around here, is I have my laptop built up. So whether it's the webcam or the camera that's built into the laptop is pretty much at eye level. I got this kind of special little doohickey thing that brings up my laptop. Now, by all means, sorry about all the camera movement here. Normally, you would not do that kind of camera movement in a presentation. But so how do you do that? You don't want to go out and get one of these funky stands that flips the laptop at a certain angle. Just take your laptop and either maybe put it up on a few books or bring your seat down so that you try to have your eye and the camera at the same level and you're not looking down into the laptop. You'll notice that if you just do that, your videos look a lot more professional. Sometimes you don't know why they look more professional, but when you try to pick up these subtle cues of camera angle, light, sound, non-distracting backgrounds, when you put it all together, you go, yeah, that's pretty good. So again, follow some of these tips and techniques to kind of put that final polish on any screencast or MoveNote presentation that you're doing. And I think you will be much more pleased with your final product. So I hope this has helped. And as always, thank you for watching.